Right, welcome back everyone, and here is effectively a reaction video. I've seen the gameplay before, so I guess it's more my impressions. I'm just going to talk about what I think of the Cyberpunk 2027 gameplay, which is right in front of me here, and yeah, so I'm going to start it in just a second, but wanted to mention I have a MacBook Pro 2020 review coming out soon on my blog. I'll have that linked below. As well as that, I also have this new card game, Muffin Time, by Tomska ASDF. So that might be cool, might review that. And as well as that, my Deep Rock Galactic review I'm writing the script for this afternoon. I've gathered some gameplay. I'm going to gather a bit more, just so the review can be a bit more of a montage. But otherwise, let's begin this video, because it's just over 18 minutes long, so it's decent. So there we are, started it. I tell you, just like straight off the bat, like I'm looking at it at 1080p, and it looks incredible. I would argue that, like, if the bar has been set for next gen at The Last of Us and like Ghost of Tsushima, this is next gen. This is like above that when it comes to detail, when it comes to, you know what it almost reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Star Citizen with its graphical detail. Most people won't know what that game is. It's currently a PC exclusive, and if it will ever come out, who knows? But you can currently play like an alpha build. I think they're on like 3 point something, and that is like the same detail as this game. This game's actually coming out full release this year, though, surprisingly.
Get the fuck out.
That's actually one thing I really want to bring up, is seeing dialogue choices this early on is really cool to see.
What, man? Never heard of thieves' honor.
Because I mean, personally some of my favourite games, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, The Outer Worlds recently came out. That was really good. Any games with decisions, like I was a fan of kind of like Fable 2, Fable 3. I mean, Fable 3 was disappointing in comparison to 2, but making those decisions, I love that sort of kind of gameplay in an RPG, and this looks like it's going, you know, full blown with it. So I think we're currently seeing, so there's 3 different starting areas, and I think, so this one is Corporation, and then there's, I want to say it's Outland, which I think is at the end of this gameplay, and then you have like Street Rat, which is like someone growing up in the streets. Supposedly, from people I've watched, such as Skill Up and like Alana Pierce, other people who have played, who actually managed to play this game for about, I think, 4 to 5 hours, they've all said that the kind of the prologues that you get to choose only take up about half an hour, but they do actually incorporate it in decision making. And stuff like that, which is really cool to see.
I've always maintained it's the same for all you termites in Haywood. Born here.
But yeah, man, the graphics, the animations. I mean, this has RTX on quite clearly, so you can see kind of real-time reflections, which is super cool. I think some people have been mentioning how it looks downgraded from previous showings. I mean, that's with every game. But I remember a lot of people who have played it have said kind of the NPCs, from being super crowded, has only been slightly reducted. It's crowded still, it's just not quite as packed. Possibly just because, I mean, I can imagine playing, like, I've got a 2070 i7. I'm going to need an SSD for this game, because otherwise I reckon loading times will be quite awful. Don't mind the dogs there.
It's a waste of effort. I have no
They
time
bark
to
at everything.
testify or play it on investigation.
Damn, I mean, the characters look so interesting as well, like the variety. And actually, what some people were saying was that you can actually even help the police out in this game. You can do like bounty hunter missions, which is like that. My first playthrough will definitely be kind of a good guy playthrough. I tend to do kind of I always tend to play the good guy first. I don't really like kind of being the bad guy. I always do it as kind of for fun later on if I do another playthrough, which I will do. This game I can already see myself doing all three choices. Now this bit's cool. So this is this is the boxing section. Now this is actually my main criticism. Obviously I haven't played it, but from what other people have said, I think I'm kind of interpreting it right. From what you can see, the melee combat looks pretty meh. It reminds me very much, the looks of it looks very much like Fallout. That's not a bad thing. Like Fallout combat's not, it's not good. It's not good. It's serviceable, I think is the best way of putting it, and that's not a word I like to use. But I think you got to remember it's an RPG. It's not necessarily about the combat. You know, it's not Call of Duty or Halo or whatever. But it's a shame it's not a bit more robust. Like, yeah, here we are. So he's gotten his fists up. It just looks very light and kind of like there's no impact. Because when I think of good melee combat now, it used to be Skyrim. When Skyrim first came out, I was like, oh, it's all about Skyrim. Now I think Dishonored or obviously The Witcher 3 was incredible for combat, which is these guys, the same people making Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red. Of which, if you're on PC, get it through GOG if you really want to support them. Galaxy of Gamers? Gamer of Galaxy? I forgot what it's called. GOG, just got GOG, you can download their latest launcher. It like compiles Steam, Origin, Epic all into one, so you can see all of your games. It works really well, and all of your friends all in one place, including Xbox and PlayStation friends list as well, so you can see who's online, who's not. Really, really cool, and you support CD Projekt Red directly, which is pretty cool. They're now actually bigger than Ubisoft in Europe. That was kind of a news story I didn't bother covering, because it's companies go up and down all the time, but that's pretty interesting to know, because Ubisoft's been the big European business now in video games for some time. Man, there's not even loading screens. Here we are. So you have the option whether you want to attack him or not. Obviously he chooses to attack him. Just
keep an eye on the AV for me, will you?
Yeah. So cool.
I don't get paid to do that.
And it makes me think, like, if you don't attack them, do they attack you? And then are you kind of on the back foot? Or do they just leave it, but do you, like, lose reputation points or something? I don't know, like, there's still so much I think we need to find out about this game, but so far it looks... I think this is probably the main contender for Game of the Year. It doesn't look like it's going to be divisive on its story. The story looks like it's going to be... Well, partly it's multiple choice, so the sounds of it, so it sounds like... If you're upset with the ending, that's your fault. It's not the writer's fault. So it'll be very interesting to see how it's interpreted. I mean, just the RPG mechanics that we've seen so far look really good. Supposedly the skill tree is like massive, which can sometimes be a bit annoying. But I think in a game like this, if it's going to take you 60 hours to beat the game potentially. Then a big skill line is going to probably be needed. And I can already see the amount of build videos that will end up coming out with this game as well. Now here's something that surprised me actually, now that we're seeing some more driving. Supposedly the driving's really fucking good, from what some people who have played it have said. I think I always kind of bring up Skill Up or Angry Joe or Alana Pierce. Not all of them have played it. I think Angry Joe hasn't played it yet. But from what they've said, they said the driving was pretty good, which was surprising. I don't know why. I think some people didn't enjoy the driving, but the driving looks pretty decent for a game like this.
But that's done after tomorrow. Afterlife.
Oh, just had an advert. Great. There we are. Skip that.
Yeah.
We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the...
Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on.
The writing's really good as well, surprisingly.
Believe that?
Like they're doing like slang terms and stuff, and normally that can come off really cringy, but it feels quite real, you know.
Proper burial is still a thing.
There's been some games recently where the writing feels quite stale, and expectant. Like you kind of expect what they're going to like. You're like, oh yeah, of course they're going to come out with this dialogue about this issue. But this actually looks. It feels very real from what I'm hearing, from what I'm reading the subtitles as well, seeing how it's actually written. It's impressive. It's impressive.
Yeah. All right then. Says he needs a second or two. Go get yourselves drinks or something.
I think they're going into the mod place right now. Afterlife. So this is where you can like customize your character with like there's like mantis blades, which are like blades that come out your forearms. I think that's where they're going.
Beating. Hear it? Can you imagine? Susan Forrest, Boa.
Yeah, your name's V. Out of all of the names you could have chosen, that is like the most random one. But I think people will take it. Could be worse. Could be worse. Maybe V will actually end up having kind of some sort of meaning at some point. Like V for Vendetta. I always think of that film. If anyone's seen that one.
Rogue was lining up jobs when Dex was still shitting in diapers. Place belongs to her.
What can I get you?
You order.
2 tequila old fashions with a splash of cerveza and a
This
chili
looks
garnish.
so good though. Oh no, this is the
Johnny
bar.
Silverhand's
Oh,
coming
now I
up.
remember. Okay.
Right on, chica.
Somebody did their homework.
I actually wonder if food's going to have buffs and debuffs. That's a very small kind of RPG element, but
The drinks are named after
that'd
our
be
regular-
interesting.
Say I wanted a drink named after me. What would I have to do?
Snuff it.
Another thing worth mentioning, actually, now that I remember it, is that CD Projekt Red, actually, if you get the game digital or physical, you get all of the digital bonuses for free. The digital deluxe edition doesn't exist. You just get all the extras. There is one, I've seen it on Game, at least in the UK on their website. There's a collector's edition for like £250, which has the main protagonist V
Let's get out of here.
as like his bog standard male form, uncustomized, on like a motorbike. Looks alright. But I think with CD Projekt Red, they have such a great merch store if you really want a statue of a character or whatever. Or like Keanu Reeves' character or something, that's probably the preferred way to do it. I don't know, the collector's edition doesn't really look like much to me, to be honest. Okay, so... Oh, this is the Nomads Start. Right. So this is really interesting. So obviously they recently showed that there's now an outdoor, like an outside of the city area, and it gives me a massive kind of, almost like a, some people are saying Rage 2. I kind of get that comparison. It's giving me massive Judge Dredd vibes. If anyone saw the original film, not the new 18 rated one, that's not even new now, that probably came out like 10 years ago, but there was like this outside area of the mega city or whatever it was called that was kind of very desert and not that pleasant. This looks a bit more pleasant. It looks almost a bit like just like a rural area, really. It doesn't look like civilization's left the area, do you know what I mean? But see, this car combat looks pretty fun that they're showing off right now. I think the gun combat looks pretty good. They've obviously only been showing it off with an Xbox controller, so it's obviously got aim assist on. But I think with a mouse and keyboard, it looks like it'll be very, very good. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine with the controller as well. First-person shooters, you know, majority of my time playing games, I play shooters with a controller. As I've only been doing PC gaming now for about a year, so although I do prefer first-person shooters on a mouse and keyboard, I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine on a controller. In fact, if anything, the driving will be good on a controller versus a mouse and keyboard. I don't know why driving on mouse and keyboard always feels wrong. The detail is incredible.
Did anyone ask your opinion?
I really do wonder how this is going to look on the base Xbox One and the Xbox One S and like the PS4 Slim. Really interested to see whether it actually looks any good or not. See, this is the detail I'm talking about. It's like a car game. Like they're actually showing the insides of it and unplugging and plugging it in. And
Look at me in Night City. I figure something else out there.
yeah. I mean, I've already got friends saying that they're waiting until the next Xbox and PlayStation before they get this game. That they're happy to wait a month or two or whatever, wait for Christmas. So they can play this looking at its best and running at its best, and 100% I get that. I actually wonder if this game is going to be hurt at launch, sales-wise, because people will wait for the next gen. I wouldn't even be surprised if people bought a next-gen copy and were just like, you know what, I've bought the next-gen copy, but I'm not, you know, I'm just going to leave it in its wrapper until I get the console. I'm digging this so much though, it looks so good. The storytelling looks really good as well. I heard it's a bit convoluted at first, it's very like full on, like they shove a lot of info very quickly. So it'll be interesting to see, because I had a problem with like Red Dead Redemption 2 with a very slow startup, so I wonder if this is going to be a very fast one, and actually it's going to end up putting people off because they'll be like, whoa, I've been overwhelmed, and they'll find it hard getting into the story because of that. Normally I think slower is worse than faster, so maybe I'll be alright, but it definitely sounds like they're going to give you some knowledge bombs straight off the bat. But damn, I'm still not bored. This is like the third time I've watched this gameplay. I'm still not bored of it. I want to actually play it. We've got to wait till November now though, which they've actually done all the content and stuff. So I don't know what they've really. I think they said they're doing more bug fixes. It'd be really nice if they could improve that melee combat. Oh, so that's cool. So that's a bit. I don't remember this bit. So he's like hacked the person before he shot him, so it made them take some damage. That's really cool. That gives me like a Watch Dogs vibe. The good one, Watch Dogs 2, not we don't mention Watch Dogs 1. See, this is the one bit I'm unsure of, the gun combat. I think it looks pretty good, but I couldn't tell whether it was a controller that was making it not look as good as it could do. It just didn't look very fluid. Or it could just be the person playing the demo. You know, I think sometimes demo people take their time, they do things quite slowly, so people can, almost for a better viewer experience, so it's easier to take it in. I think we're about to see the Mantis arms though. Yeah, we are, yeah. So this is super cool. Bam, head off, yeah. Just, it doesn't look like it's weighted at all. It looks very much like you just tap a button and it happens, and there's not really any like physical, like just physics. It doesn't look like there's any physics involved. It just looks like it kind of happens, and a little animation kind of. But I think we're nearing the end of this. So yeah, I think it looks good. I mean, that's my thoughts pretty much. It's hard to say exactly how good it's going to be. You know, it's still so early on. But I'm excited. I think I've got Ghosts, Paper Mario, all of these in like July, and then that's pretty much it until November. So yeah, hoping that that is really good. Basically, you know, I think this could be Game of the Year easily. Anyway, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.